Croissant! Hello there in Internet Land. This is episode 2 of the 2024 season of the F1 Chat. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Joining us as a foreign correspondent is Fuck You, Danica Patrick.
She better not be. I'm leaving the show.
Everyone else is leaving the show too. No, seated to my left is the man who likes to sit here and say "fuck you, Danica Patrick" yet again. It's JB. JB, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. I can put the cue on the rack though now. I finished watching Drive to Survive.
Awesome.
So no more Danica Patrick, unless I turn on Sky Sports early.
I've still got 7 episodes to go.
You poor bastard.
And seated to my right is a man who also likes to say "fuck you, Danica Patrick." It's Longhorn. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to put the cue in the rack yet, though, because I also still have, I think, about 6 episodes left to go of Drive to Survive. So, other than that, I'm good. Good to be here.
You know what's going to happen, though? We're going to get to the end of it. I'm going to message JB and go, right, that's it. We're finished. We're through. That's it. Biscuits back in the cupboard. We're done.
Yep. Yep. And I honestly don't even think I'm going to watch next season. I thought this was the last one, but apparently the DTS guys are in the paddock.
Well, it depends how good this actual season of Formula 1 goes.
They had the best season ever in 2021, and they couldn't do shit with it.
Yeah, it wasn't even a great season of DTS, was
It's like, you don't even have to over-dramatize everything. Like, it's actually happening. and it was flat.
I think it was hard because they didn't have Max in that one. If they had Max in, it might have made it a bit... Remember, it was all about Hamilton?
Yeah. If they had Max in that year...
Yeah.
Well, I suppose this year you do have the drama of Lewis ending his relationship with Mercedes and next year going to Ferrari.
Well, we will have a crazy driver market at the end of the year because there's about 9 drivers out of contract.
And you've got Carlos Sainz, who's just basically sat there and going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you, because I want a seat next year.
Yeah. I'm the best driver at Ferrari.
How many times did he pass Charles Leclerc in this race?
It was like 3 times or something.
Yeah.
And then you've got the drama of Alpine.
$2.99.
Like, I just got to stop right there and say just the drama at Alpine because... Croissant! Oh, my God.
Their cars are a croissant.
Their bloody organisation.
They're making Haas look like world beaters.
Oh, yeah.
Haas went in, they go, well, your car's going to be crap this year.
And then Alpine's just like, hold my beer. Hold my latte and my croissant. I'll show you some
I don't
shit.
see how they get better either. Like,
Well,
I'm sure we'll get to it,
it's going to be a news item, but they're not going to get better if their staff keep walking out.
Yeah, but you know, I read this earlier today. The one person who really is kicking them while they're down is Otmar Zaf now.
Yeah, he must be laughing.
He jumped before he was pushed. I mean, he got off the sinking boat.
Well, I thought he was let
Well, they
go.
kicked him off. Yeah,
Well, they kicked him off.
Yeah, they kicked him out.
They made him walk the plank, but yeah, there wasn't any sharks at the bottom. The sharks were still on the ship, so
he said they got off free.
yeah, that's it.
Him and Gunther Steiner are both sitting there drinking wine in the Italian Alps.
Yeah, they floated away to the Italian
We're
Alps. Yeah,
free.
Gunther Steiner was at the track, actually,
Yeah.
doing his commentary.
I'm sure he really enjoyed talking about Haas.
Nah. Awkward relationship.
Right, so we endured the first race of the season, the Bahrain F1. It was, 2 o'clock in the morning this morning when it was on?
yeah,
It was.
Because I slept through most of it, so... But from all accounts I've seen...
The only fireworks were the ones in the sky at the end.
Or what happened after the race.
Yeah.
Right, so for the first time this year, we're going to hand it over.
Hey, wait a minute. There was an F2 race.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
there was.
Well, we handed
And I remembered it this year.
Oh,
I mean, I haven't forgotten, but
well, good. You've done better than me because I didn't remember there was an F2 race. So.
first one of the year.
Well,
So yes, here I am, the F2 report for the first one. Unfortunately, didn't get to watch the entire race. I did watch the highlights and check out all the stats and everything, but we've started off with a flyer with young Zane Maloney just dominating, basically coming out and putting his hand up to be the guy this year in F2.
Hell yes.
He dominated the sprint race and dominated the feature race and took them both out. So 4 points for the first race of the season.
That's
away.
rare in Formula 2.
Oh man, it was a, you know how you just see a performance sometimes and you go, oh wow, he looked like a step above. Like the first corner in the feature race, he started third, and he was first by the first corner, and then he was gone, and he won by like 5 or 6 seconds.
That's
just
incredible.
never looked back. He was just took off and see you later. So. Watch him this year because it was pretty impressive drive. So, and he was one of the guys that I was pretty interested to see this year, as he was a rookie last year from F3. Young, he's really young. Like, pretty sure he was only like, I'm sure he's only like 18.
Yeah.
At the moment. So
yeah, he's only a kid.
Yeah, really, really
He's,
young. Red Bull Academy.
Is he Red Bull Academy?
I think so.
Because his car looked like a Sauber.
It did, didn't it?
Yes. It was black and green like the Saubers.
It was kick green steak, whatever you want to call it.
Kick
Sauber
Sauber.
car.
Kick Sauber.
Kick the baby.
He was Red Bull Academy driver last year, I thought. So I don't know. Maybe he's moved to someone else, or I don't know how it works. Sometimes in F2, sometimes in F2 they can be academy for a certain team, but still drive for a different car. So
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he dominated. So then we'll get to basically the results. There wasn't surprisingly much going on in the race, other than a few decent overtakes, but not too many safety cars, which is different for Formula 2. So starting off a Formula 2 season with not many incidents and a guy dominating. So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the year. But one thing I will say as well, the cars actually look really good.
I really
the new
like
design.
the look.
Yeah, they've got the new
The
cars
new
this
F2
year.
cars.
Yep, the new cars, they look really good on track, except they sound a little bit like a really shitty turbo when they brake. Like, just a really shitty... Like, it's... I'm not sure about the sound of them yet, but they look great. So, anyway, the results of the feature race. We had Zane Maloney winning it. Pepe Marti, who's also a rookie this year in F2, coming second, and he also got third in the sprint race. So, a good start for him, jumping up from F2. There's a lot of rookies this year in F2 that have jumped up from F3, so it might be a more interesting year than we thought, depending on how they all perform. And then rounding out the podium places, we had Paul Aaron, who's also another rookie jumping up from F3. In fourth, we had the Williams Academy driver, who I was trying to talk about the other day, Zach O'Sullivan, putting a nice performance there. In fifth, we had the F3 champion, Gabriel Bortoletto, so another rookie. Yep. In sixth, we had Franco Colapinto, yet again another rookie jumping up from F3. So far, the top 10's full of mostly rookies. So, yeah, we'll see how the year goes, but it might be a bit more exciting than we thought. In seventh, we've got Kush Miney. In eighth, Dennis Hauger. In ninth, another rookie, Ratomo Miyota, who was the Super GT and Super Formula champion for the last year, I believe. He won both. So pretty high pedigree coming out of Japan. So be interesting to see how he goes. And then in 10th, we had another rookie with young sensation Kimi Antonelli rounding out the points. And that was our first week of F2 in Bahrain.
Right, and now we've got a new photo for the F1 report this year.
Excellent.
Yep. So it's like,
as long as she doesn't open her mouth, I'm happy looking at that.
So this is just going to be our thumbnail from now on for people just listening. It's a photo of Danica Patrick. So a lot of Danica Patrick fans are going to be very confused when they see this thumbnail on the internet and go, "Oh, what's this? I better check it out." And
yeah, that thumbnail was also on Twitter and got a lot of attention.
I love Danica Patrick, and they start the podcast and just, "Fuck you, Danica Patrick!"
Just getting ragged on.
remind me to put that clip behind us. So, time for the F1 report. JB, take it away.
Yeah, it's rock and roll. First F1 report of the year. 2024 Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix from the Sakir International Circuit.
Now, are you talking because you're a race car driver of over 20 years' experience?
30. 3 decades.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Sweet.
I come from a highly educated university.
You know, she is actually the same age as me.
What happened to you?
She in about 2 weeks, she turns 42.
All the G-forces kept her skin in place. With the crashes that she's had.
Best Botox you can ever get.
Yeah. Locked in that lovely personality of
Maybe
hers.
it's Maybelline. Maybe it's barriers. All right, that one. Max Verstappen starts on pole position alongside Charles Leclerc. Charles nearly gets Max into turn 1, but Max holds him off. Lance Stroll spins with contact from Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg damaging his front wing in the process. Lap 3, Lando Norris passes Fernando Alonso. George Russell swoops past Charles Leclerc for second. Lap 7, Sergio Perez passes Charles Leclerc for third into turn 11. Lap 10, Lewis Hamilton passes Alonso for 8th. Logan Sargent's Williams pulls off to the side of the track, but he rejoins. Not sure what happened to him. It looked like he was retiring, but then he was good. Lap 11, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc scrap for 4th position. Carlos Sainz getting past Charles. Lap 12, Charles Leclerc and George Russell pit for hard tyres. Lap 13, Perez, Piastri and Hamilton pit for hards. Lap 14, Lando Norris pits for hards. Lap 15, Sergio Perez passes George Russell as Carlos Sainz pits. Lap 17, Carlos Sainz dive bombs Charles Leclerc for 4th position into turn 1 as race leader Max Verstappen pits for hard tyres. Lap 18, Carlos Sainz passes George Russell for 3rd. Lap 19, both Mercedes are reporting battery charge issues. Lap 24, George Russell told to lift and coast to manage overheating and also told to not use the overtake button. Lap 25, Lewis Hamilton reports that his seat is broken. Lap 32, Valtteri Bottas pits with a problem with his wheel nut. He's had that before. Lap 36, Lando Norris passes Alonso for 6th. Lap 38, Max Verstappen pits for soft tyres after Sergio Perez does the same. Lap 39, Hamilton passes Alonso for 7th. Lap 45, Alonso passes Zhou Guanyu for 10th. Lap 46, Russell locks up into turn 10 and Charles Leclerc gets past him for 4th. Lap 48, the Aston Martin swap positions, Alonso up to 9th place. Lap 53, Yuki Tsunoda reluctantly cedes position to Daniel Ricciardo. And lap 57, Max Verstappen wins the Bahrain Grand Prix from Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez and Ferrari's Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen gets fastest lap, Carlos Sainz gets driver of the day.
In 4th place was Charles Leclerc for Ferrari. In 5th place was George Russell for Mercedes. In 6th place was Lando Norris in McLaren. 7th was Lewis Hamilton in the other Mercedes. Oscar Piastri was 8th in the other McLaren. 9th we had Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin. And 10th was Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin.
After spinning on lap 1, Lance Stroll made it to 10th. He was almost robbed for driver of the day, to be fair. He came from the back to 10th, but I mean, Carlos drove the arse of the Ferrari. So.
Yeah.
I think it shows the pace advantage these top 10 currently sit here have to the backfield at the moment. The fact that he could just come through.
I was disappointed with the Williams.
Yeah, not a great day. Not a great day.
Alex Albon had heating issues as well.
Man, all day they were just battling faults coming up on the so that we finally got the new steering wheel. We finally got the new
new
upgraded
screen.
steering wheel, everyone else,
Yes.
and it doesn't work. So that was awesome.
Right, well, Max Verstappen was the winner of the race. How good is he at the moment? He really is on song.
Another
He
level.
Just, I mean, there was slight hope at testing that maybe the Red Bull wasn't as dominant as it was going to be, and even in practice he wasn't flogging everyone. And then out of the box on Saturday for qualifying, whacks it on pole, and then even with the new rule of DRS being allowed to be opened after one lap, he was like 1.2 seconds ahead. So it didn't even matter. Like no one was close. I think he was 11 seconds ahead by like lap 19 or something. It was crazy.
I mean, he beat Perez by like over 20 seconds.
It was the biggest
In the
winning
end.
margin at the Bahrain Grand Prix ever. 22 seconds.
But he really is...
That car's on form. Like, that car's a rocket.
Yeah, but he is really connected up. Like, he has connected all the dots. He's
on another level.
He's
Yeah.
imperious.
He is another
Yeah.
level to the drivers at the moment.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but he is really Schumacher 2002. Like, he's just that switched on and everything is just falling into place.
If this is the first warning shot of the year, like, we joked about him sweeping everything. He could sweep everything.
I listened to a podcast with Alex Albon, the High Performance podcast, and they asked him a question about the car, because the saying is always, is the car built around Max? And this is, Alex was talking about his time at Red Bull, Max there. And he said, essentially, the car's not built around Max, but Max's driving capability is at such a sensitive level. He's like, picture it this way, like, an FPS game, your mouse, the sensitivity. He's like, Max essentially is turned all the way up as high as you can go. Like, that's the level he is at. He is that fine-tuned in everything in that car that he can just turn everything up that little bit. And that's why he can dominate all his teammates, because he's just that much more fine-tuned than the other drivers.
Yeah.
That's what's pulling out 22 seconds over, Sergio Perez. It's like in the same machinery, He's just legitimately on another level right now, and I don't see anyone touching him until these new regs, if Red Bull get it wrong.
It's not that Sergio's a bad driver, it's just...
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but he's making him look like a bad driver.
Sergio's a top 20 driver in the world. He's a good Formula 1 driver. He's won races, you know. He can drive, and, Max is making him look like he can't, in a sense.
Him and everyone else.
That's what I mean. He's doing it to anyone.
He laps the field up to about 13th or 12th. That car is a rocket, and he's in control of that rocket to whatever whim, It's the extension of his body is that car. And that car's already the best on the grid. So
well, I think the best way of describing it, like most people drive a car, but it's kind of like being a guitarist. When you're connected to that instrument, when you put the guitar on and you're playing it, it is an extension of you.
Yeah.
And that's what he's got with that car. It is an extension of him.
Yeah.
It's so fine-tuned.
The synchronicity is just awe-inspiring. I mean, it's going to be another one of those years, I think, but you can only marvel at it because
it's impressive.
Adrian Newey's built a rocket, and Max Verstappen knows how to get everything out of that rocket.
Yeah.
The way he wants it, the way he wants it set up.
Yep.
Man, it's going to be hard.
Do you think we could come away saying he's the greatest of all time by the time of the end of his Formula 1?
It's so subjective.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Because it's always the car, too. Like, Ayrton Senna's my GOAT, but he only won 3 world championships.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's easy to say guys from the past of a time are a GOAT, but, you should answer better than me. Did those guys dominate in the way Max Verstappen's dominating right now?
Well, Schumacher in 02 he did.
Yeah.
But the car was a rocket.
Yeah, the car was
The
just...
MP44 was probably one of the best F1 cars ever made.
I think
it was a rocket. I mean, the Ferraris from 2000 to 2004 were brilliant machines.
I mean, is it fair to say, as much as they have created, probably the best car on the grid, it's not like Sergio Perez is unbeatable in that car. So is it him actually giving it that big a boost, not just the car? Like, I'm not going to say they haven't built the best car, they clearly have, but is the domination coming from Max?
It's
not so
definitely
much
Max
just
as
the car?
well. It's definitely Max as well.
Yeah, but is it quite heavily Max? Do you know what I'm saying? Or is it the car? Because you can have world championships where you go like Mercedes era, where you're like, as good as Lewis Hamilton is, both those cars were beating everyone by 30 seconds.
Yeah.
This year you've got Max doing it, but the other car's not.
I think, yeah.
So
I think you could definitely make the argument that it's definitely Max as well.
Yeah.
Maybe more so. Maybe more so than
The machinery.
Maybe more so than Lewis and his Mercedes dominance.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I think maybe more so it could be Max. Because Mercedes was a leap years ahead. They got the head start on the whole turbo hybrid thing by
They bloody
5
invented
years.
the technology, didn't they?
Yeah, basically, they were there when the law was written.
Yeah.
And it took years for the rest of the field to catch them. But I think it's absolutely, the car is a rocket, but as Sergio's shown, it's a beatable rocket.
Yeah.
But in the hands of Max, it's an
one's touching
unbeatable
it.
rocket. So I could see your point, and I could actually agree with your point that it probably is a lot more the driver than the car. Maybe even more so than we think, than we give credit for.
Or it could be that 50-50 just perfect synchronicity.
Yeah.
To describe it. Whereas,
I mean, it's Newey, it's the RB20, and it's Max. All.
Yeah. It's the
and that
perfect
team's
storm.
such a machine at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that team is...
Everyone.
Championship
Christian,
winning team. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing it.
And then we had driver of the day, Carlos Sainz.
That is a dude gunning for a seat.
Yeah.
That's a guy driving with his hair on, a guy driving knowing that he's been not rated by the team he's for.
He's doing a
And he's-
Sergio.
Yeah.
But
He's driving for his career. Not that he's going to be not without a seat, but he's going to put his hand up for a top-tier
Well,
seat.
it's like how Martin Brundle described it. For 99% of the race, he's driving for Ferrari. But for that last lap, he's driving for himself. He's driving to stay in Formula One and to...
There was a few times in this race where he was driving for himself.
Yeah.
At the expense of Charles Leclerc.
I think he's going to all year.
Times.
I really think he's going to show you this year that, hey, you should have picked me, not Charles Leclerc.
He is going to put it over Charles at every fucking opportunity now. And it may come to tears, but...
I don't blame him.
But, to Charles Leclerc's defence, he actually had an issue with the car.
Yeah, he did have
because
braking issues.
His front right?
Yeah, his front right was
the brake pad was pulling under
100 degrees hotter than the left, I think, or something.
Yeah, I think it was either the rotor or the pad. But it was every time he'd brake, the car would jerk to the right.
Yeah, so...
And he dealt with that all day.
But
he got fourth. Good drive.
Yeah. But, Carlos Sainz, he really has been driving out of his skin the last couple of years.
If he wanted to set a marker for the year, he's just set it.
But I think right now, if he was to sign with another team, him signing with Sauber in preparation for Audi would be the wrong move. He would need to want to either go to Mercedes, possibly be in the conversation to replace Perez at Red Bull.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
Or go to Aston Martin.
Yeah.
You know, because, I mean, he's not going to go to McLaren, and Ferrari's stitched up. So but he deserves to still be in a top team.
That's right. He does. The talent's there to be in a top team.
The question is just where he's going to land.
Well,
because Red Bull, it still definitely seems like it's going to be Ricciardo.
I think he's in the conversation for Mercedes. Even though I in my predictions I said he'd go to Aston Martin, I think he's in the conversation for Mercedes.
I can't see him going to Aston Martin, and I know that sounds strange, but as it all comes down to if Stroll's still ahead of the team. Like if Lance Stroll gets moved to Le Mans or somewhere else, then that team opens up to any driver. But as it currently stands, with it being Stroll's, basically baby child team, I feel like Lawrence is only going to put in another driver that's going to... I don't think he wants to put in another driver that's going to gun to destroy Lance. He wants to put in, like, world champions that are, like, trying to pass down some knowledge to Lance, if that makes sense. Like,
Either Lance is going to go to the endurance project, or Alonso's going to retire. Because Alonso, everyone keeps saying, Alonso's in the running for the Mercedes seat. I don't think he is. I think Toto wants someone with longevity.
He wants Antonelli, I believe. That's who he's waiting for. I think he wants to see how Antonelli goes in F2.
I think it's still too soon to bring Antonelli
up. I agree. I think he just wants to leave it open. And the funny thing is, though, is the market's not going to move until Mercedes make their move.
Yeah.
No one's going to move until Toto decides who's in the other seat.
Yeah.
I think the strong case is still Albon. But I think they wouldn't mind seeing how Antonelli goes. I've seen Toto saying something about it the other day. But with Fernando retiring, he actually, for the first time ever the other day, actually mentioned a conversation about potentially retiring by 2026 because he wasn't sure if he's going to be up for the reg changes. That's the first hint of retirement Fernando's ever given. So,
except the time he actually retired and came back.
True, except that. I'm talking about since he's come back at 400 years old.
Other than that minor oversight. Right, so the next key drivers. So I've got some key drivers here. Sergio Perez.
Did what he had to do.
He did what he had to do. He put in a strong performance, and he's put his chips down. He's made his bet, and he's gone right. It's now or never. It's do or die.
I don't think he did anything exceptional, but he P2'd it by proxy.
Yeah. He did what he had to do. Yeah. This is what he's got to do all year.
He's doing the best he can compared to Max.
He's never going to beat him.
That's all he can do is put his best foot forward.
Yeah, I mean, good start, best possible start he could have had.
Yeah. My next key driver was Charles Leclerc. I think he drove really well, despite the fact that
the issue, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he drove really well, and I reckon if he didn't have that issue, he would have held off Carlos Sainz.
Yeah,
that would have been a hell of a scrap.
It would have been a battle.
Some people possibly think that if he didn't have that issue, Sergio Perez wouldn't have been on second place on the podium.
I do feel like he's very beatable, and I feel like if it's anyone, it's going to be the Ferraris.
Well, I had a look at the sector times during qualifying, and for 2/3 of the lap of qualifying, Carlos Sainz was Charles Leclerc was ahead of Max Verstappen. It was only the first it was the second sector.
The middle sector.
Yeah, it was the middle sector where Max got him.
It was actually crazy because if you watch Max's onboard, he doesn't set a best sector at all. None of the sectors he sat on his pole lap were purple. None of them.
No.
It was 2 personal bests, and then the last sector was yellow, but the combined time was enough to put him on pole.
Yeah.
But none of the sectors he actually drove on his pole lap were the fastest. Yeah, which was astonishing to me.
He just put together a consistent lap.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Charles Leclerc, he lost it in the second sector, but he put in best first and third. So they reckon on the Ferrari, if it's a track that's a high downforce track, that thing's going to be a rocket. So Austria, Monza.
You mean a low downforce?
That's the one. You know what I mean.
You're not putting the wings up to 11.
Yeah, okay.
At Austria.
Fuck you, Danica Patrick. Right? You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
It's built like a rocket ship.
It will go fast in a straight line.
So can the Williams.
Which is good news for
it's not overheating.
For Monza, to face it, Monza.
Just to jump back to your Max Verstappen pole lap, not getting any of the purple, everything was just consistent. I seen a time chart of his laps from, I think it was like lap 20 to 30 or something like that, and they were all within like a tenth of a second.
Yeah.
Some of them were even the same
Insane
time. That's how consistent it was. Like every lap was within a tenth. It was just, it's like we're talking about. He's just so in tune. Everything's perfect.
That's just that crazy synchronicity.
He's just in a flow state at the moment.
He's just in a tunnel. It's like Ayrton Senna used to describe driving Monaco as like being in a tunnel.
Mm.
Yeah. Like you're going.
Yeah, you're in the zone.
And basically that's what Max has been in for the last, what's it been now?
3 years?
4 years? 3 years going on 4.
Mm.
Yeah.
And my final key driver was George Russell.
Yeah.
I think he was sort of lost in no man's land.
I think he probably expected better, but he drove all right. Lando almost had him. Apparently Lando was managing issues too. But, man, he was almost in DRS zone at the end of the race. In striking distance, if that race was maybe 3 laps longer, I reckon Lando would have got him.
It's really coming apparent, though, with the constructors here. You've got Red Bull. They really are in a class of their own. Maybe Ferrari's a little bit in that class, that elite level at the moment. Boy, oh boy, there seems to be a bit of a difference between the Ferrari, the Mercedes, the McLaren, the Aston Martin.
I would say
the Mercedes and the McLaren seem like the same car at the moment.
Yeah,
they're on equal pace.
Spot on. Yeah. McLaren and Mercedes seem to be they're going to be in a
bit
fight all
more
year.
back from that.
Yeah.
And
the disappointing thing for me, I think, is if I had to rank it at the moment, it looks like you've got Red Bull on top, Ferrari's just below them, gunning to catch them. Sergio Perez is beatable. You'll never touch Max, but he's on his own pedestal. So you got them two at the top. Then you've got McLaren and Mercedes, pretty much in their own little tier, neck and neck. Then you got Aston Martin sort of on their own. They're sort of climbing to catch the Mercedes McLaren, but, sort of just there, finishing off the points. And then you've got a gap, it feels like.
It's a big gap.
And it's a big gap. And it's, after that, it's kind of, you've got the RBs. I think they might be
the Williams, the Haas's.
Yeah, but I think
Saubers.
the RBs are looking the better of the backfield. They might be the ones looking like they might be able to get points, but the rest, I don't see how any other team gets a point at the moment.
I expected a little bit more from the RBs, to be honest, after testing.
I'll tell you what surprised me was that I think it was Hulkenberg got into Q3 in the Haas.
Yeah, whenever he needs to, he can pull out a stonking lap, old Hulkenberg. He just can't put a race together to get on a podium.
But you're like, how did the Haas end up in Q3?
I don't think the Haas is as bad as we thought it was going to be.
It's really not.
And
after I rated them to be my lowest ranked team this year.
Even the Kick Saubers are doing all right.
Kick Saubers look like they've improved. The Williams look like they've stagnated. They haven't really gone any forward. In fact, today they looked like they had reliability issues all day. Albon was basically fighting fault codes coming up on his screen. And seems the Mercedes power unit was having, all the cars in the Mercedes power unit was having heating troubles.
Yep, all of them.
Engines were hot. So that's going to be interesting to see how reliability plays out in the next few rounds before they, if that starts becoming an issue. But The Williams didn't look great, and I mean Logan Sargent, of course, didn't look great. I'm not sure if his incident was him or the car.
I don't know what happened. I thought he was retiring, and then he went back on the track.
He was a lap down by like
Yeah.
At the end of the race, he was 2 laps down.
Yeah. He locked up, and straight away, as soon as he did it, I go, here we go. We're off to a flyer again. Another Logan Sargent year.
Another Logan special.
But I'm not sure. I listened to him talk after the race, and he was very, like, he didn't take ownership of it. He tried to allude it was the car, but I didn't believe it.
I
think it was more his fault.
What happened.
He just, like, hot-spotted his tyre and just went off the corner, just didn't.
Yeah, right.
You know, but I don't know if it's got to do with these fault codes that were coming up and, you know, but Alex Albon didn't manage to do it, so I'm going to put it on him. But yeah, the Williams was no good. The Sauber didn't look too bad. Bottas got unlucky with that wheel nut that they couldn't get off, so he had like a 50-second odd pit stop.
Yeah.
The Alpines look horrible.
Alpine is just a mess. We'll come back to Alpine soon, because there's something broke just before about the Alpines. But, like,
Not the Alpines themselves, though.
But, I mean, it's the Saubers look half decent. The Haas, not as bad as we was thought. The Racing Bulls certainly are punching above their weight. I can't. Who the fuck else is there? Not including Alpine. Williams. You know, Williams' biggest problem is they're carrying a Logan Sargent issue.
Oh, 100%. It's another driver issue. It's just, yeah.
You know, but I'm sure James Vowles will get on top of it.
I really hope he does, because it's going to be really disappointing if we watch Alex Albon put in good performances each week and we got a car capable of getting points, and he's the only one fighting for them.
You've got 2 cars capable of getting points, but only 1 driver capable of getting points.
Yeah, so what's the point? Like, this is a big year for us. Like, if we don't aim to push up the grid this year, Albon's going to go. I mean, Albon might go anyway, even if we don't strive for the best. But if we don't, we're going to fall down again, because Albon will go. Then what are we going to have? Like, you know, Logan Sargent, he's not going to last. So, I don't know. See where we go this year, but not the best start.
Right. So last year it was called the dumbass driver of the race. But this year we've decided to call him the helmet driver.
Thank you, Danny Rick, for that one.
Thank you, Danny Rick.
The helmet award.
The helmet driver.
Helmet of the week.
So, we've got 4 nominees. First one is Esteban Ocon.
He could win it every week, just for being Esteban Ocon.
Esteban Ocon in the Alpine was a non-event. The next one is Pierre Gasly. Driver for Alpine, basically a non-event. Next one, we've got helmet driver Hall of Fame nominee Sogan Largent.
Another weekly award winner.
It's the only thing he'll damn well win.
Yeah, that's it.
Just give him the perpetual trophy.
And I'll be honest, this guy is my favourite for this week, is Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, I think he's going to win it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Yuki, man. He was angry little boy.
I mean, he got asked to step aside by the team. So he lets Danny Rick get by. Immediately he's whinging about how he could have gotten the overtake done and Danny's not getting it done. They finish the race and then all of a sudden he dive bombs Ricciardo on the cool down lap. And Danny Rick's like, what the hell is this? And then he zooms past him again like he's in fucking Mazda mode with the old zoom. And Danny Rick's is like,
fucking helmet.
What a helmet. And even in the press conferences afterwards, like, Yuki's just sitting there, and you could tell he's seething over it. And he's sitting there going, I could have gotten the overtake done. Well, if you could have gotten the overtake done, you should have fucking gotten the overtake done. I mean, it was a fucking Haas.
Yeah.
It was a Haas of Magnussen, and you couldn't overtake it. Whose fault is that? It's not Danny Rick's fault.
I'm sure RB gave him ample time to overtake said Haas.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, actually. So, I don't think they did, so I understand his frustration. But this was also always something that potentially could happen. Like, RB discussed it with both their drivers in their pre-meetings and everything, that Danny Rick was going to be on a new set of softs towards the end, and Tsunoda wasn't. So they knew that Ricciardo was going to have the pace advantage. So they'd already talked about if they got to it, they'd do the swap. So it was already in their minds. Now, when they did do it, I think they did do it a little bit late. They did it with like a couple of laps to go, and like they weren't chasing any points at that point. Like they weren't going to get anything. So it was kind of like, what the point? But I mean, at the end of the day, still, you just got to do what your team orders are, and move aside. And I understand Yuki's frustration, but my God, you can't act like that. Like,
No.
that's just stupid,
It's childish.
Yeah, it is. It's childish.
Yeah, Daniel Ricciardo did use the word immature, and that's exactly what it was.
I mean, hopefully, we got the storyline of Drive to Survive next year, don't we?
Yeah, already.
Straight away. So
Well, lucky they did stay in the paddock then.
they'll be licking their lips like,
They'll be like,
I'll work with this one. Hopefully, Yuki can take some lessons off of Danny Ricciardo on how to handle himself in those situations, because that's the only thing holding him back. I rate Yuki Tsunoda as a driver. I think he's really, really quick. His immaturity is what's going to hold him back.
hot-headed.
Yeah, he's hot-headed is going to what stops him from going to the next level.
Yeah.
So, who are you voting for?
Yeah, Yuki.
Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, it's Yuki across the board.
Unanimous.
Congratulations, Yuki.
Congratulations, helmet of the week.
First
Helmet.
one of the year.
First helmet for the week. All right, news items. Oh, hang on. Before we get to the news items too, with this win, Red Bull Racing has now tied with Williams for most amount of constructors in their constructors race wins.
That hurts.
Pain.
Because Ferrari is number 1 with 243. McLaren is number 2 with 183. Mercedes has got 125. Williams has got 114. And now Red Bull has 114.
That's going to change next week.
Look, I reckon...
It's been nice, Williams, sitting there in fourth.
By the end of the season, Red Bull's going to be in third.
They'll probably beat Mercedes.
100% they will.
Yeah.
100%.
I'd love to know who Red Bull knocked off to get onto this list.
Who could it be off the top of your head?
Look, for me, it would be...
It would be Renault.
Maybe Lotus, yeah.
I was thinking Lotus.
Maybe?
Lotus, or well, sure as hell won't be Copper fucking Suka, that's for sure.
No. I would say Lotus.
Yeah.
They're the only one that's been around long enough.
Yeah, to have
Yeah.
enough wins to be on the list, yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the news items. And Christian Horner has been cleared of his allegations.
Oh, thank God we were right.
But Jos Verstappen is still saying that Christian Horner needs to be let go from the team and that he's the one who's causing all the issues in the team.
Josh Verstappen stays.
Really?
Yeah, Max's dad,
Yeah, right.
Jos. I think Jos Verstappen should shut the fuck up.
Maybe, yeah. Jos Verstappen should stay home.
Jos Verstappen should stay at home and roast by the fire.
Well, I mean, he should know about causing problems. Doesn't he cause a problem all the time? Josh Verstappen? Over the years, hasn't he always stuck his head in where it shouldn't, involving Red Bull and Max?
Yeah. Yeah, because he is a Helmut Marko loyalist.
Oof.
You know, same as he was a Flavio Briatore loyalist.
Oof.
So he likes...
That says a lot about the man.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not best mates with Jacques Villeneuve. Because Christ almighty, he says some outlandish shit. But yeah, Christian Horner's been cleared.
In spite of File 76.
Yes. Johnny, have you seen File 76?
I've seen File 76.
Is there anything on there
Yeah.
Can you tell us about File 76? Because me and Phil have not seen it.
Looks like something phallic, but I don't believe it's something phallic. I believe it's Christian Horner's finger, not his man parts. Which is probably what got him into trouble.
So there is no ball batter in the shop.
I don't think so. No, it just it looked that way, but it's not.
Was there
Thank
text
you.
messages and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. There's a whole thing on Reddit if you can find it. Yeah, a whole bunch of just cringy text messages, attempted flirting. It's bad, it's terrible, but...
And obviously the the other person in this whole scenario wasn't, like, on the same page?
Not at all.
Yeah, right, okay.
Not at all.
So it wasn't like a back and forth
It
thing
wasn't
and then
going anywhere,
stopped?
I'll give
No.
you that much. It
Right.
wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such an awkward scenario.
Yeah, right. It's one of those things where it's awkward, but like not enough to condemn the man.
Yeah, it's just... I'm poorer for having read it, to be honest. I am. My life is worse by having to read the whole fucking thing.
Jeez, you're having a shocker. I mean, you sat through the entire season of Drive to Survive, a bit of the Bahrain F1,
The whole Bahrain F1.
the whole Bahrain F1, and then you've read File 76. You're just really not having a humdinger.
I could have... I mean, curiosity killed the cat. I needed to know.
We're happy to have you, Johnny, because me and Phil are just glad we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to do it, boy. It's nothing incriminating, I guess. I mean, I can see where she's coming from, but
Yeah, right. Yep.
it's pretty fucking cringy.
All right. So we're going to move on from that to Alpine. Oh, the wheels.
Speaking of a shit show,
Speaking of cringy.
The wheels on the bus
have
fell the
fallen
fuck
off.
They're not going round and round. Alpine technical director Matt Harmon and head of Aero Dirk de Beer have resigned.
Dr. Beer sounds like a porn star name.
Sick name.
Actually,
It's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
Dirk de Beer.
D de Beer is a player in international cricket.
Yeah,
on
he was
Super
South
Nintendo.
African.
South African,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
De
Dirk
Beer.
de Beer, cricket
He-
player.
Well, yeah, there was
Yeah.
De Beer. He played for South Africa in the 90s.
Yeah. So now he's going to have de Beer.
He's going to have a beer or two
Yeah.
while he's in the Centrelink line.
Yeah, well, he got out of Alpine, didn't he?
That ship is sinking so fast.
Look, I wouldn't mind betting that Alpine or Renault are going
fold.
to they're going to sell the team.
Just
And then
fold.
If they put that team up for sale, fucking Andretti got to buy it.
Yeah.
Buy it. Just buy it outright. Sell
Right
it.
outright. You don't have to put in your little entry fee. You're just taking the team over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He saves some money then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen a team unravel like this.
Not a constructor like they
Yeah,
are.
like
you know
a
what I mean?
works team
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just a complete mess. But you know what? They brought it upon themselves. This all started with the Fernando Alonso Oscar Piastri thing.
Yeah, it's like a
And
domino,
has
wasn't it?
Fucking snowballed since then. Just
Yeah.
the 9-inch nails downward spiral.
And you know, the thing was, we all thought Otmar Zafnauer and Pat Fry and
I thought
and-
Otmar was the problem, but it turns out he's not.
No, I honestly think the big problem with Alpine is the guy who is the boss now, Bernie Famine.
Yeah.
Like, he just seems like a slippery eel as a person. Like, even watching
Backstabber.
even watching Drive to Survive, like, I just watch him and just go, you're a slimy... Like, when he does a speech, he doesn't even look at people. He looks at the ground, and you just go, you come across as a snivelling little worm.
Well, it makes sense how he jumped into the position he's in. He basically backstabbed a bunch of people to get there, didn't he?
Yeah. He was head of engine development, and then all of a sudden he's the president and the team principal
He
of a team.
jumped over Otmar Zafnauer, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, they leapfrogged him and then cut them as soon as he got into power.
Yeah, that's
Hey, you just sit
that's
there.
not the sort of politics you need in your team.
And now technical director and head of aero have gone because the car is such a dog box, and they've probably fallen on their sword and gone, this is on us, see it's all later.
Yeah.
It's just
And stuff this working environment. Probably don't want to work for... Is it Bernie Famine?
Bernie Famine.
Furman, yeah.
It's just a toxic environment, and
Yeah.
it's down to the drivers are toxic.
Yeah.
Esteban and Pierre don't like each other.
Esteban needed to go years ago.
You know,
Yeah.
He's been
the
around
team's
too long.
falling apart. The car's dog shit. Like, the car reflects the team.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, the downfall... The year that they beat McLaren to 4th or whatever, 2021 I think it was, where McLaren was spiralling down. But since then, that's been their fall from grace too, so...
Yeah, the on-track is matching the off-track at the moment for
Yeah,
Alpine.
it's a direct comparison.
It's just bloody chaos. And at this point, I think... I'm not sure if he's allowed to be, but I'd be trying to bring back fucking Flavio Brigatore at this point. It's the only person who seems to be able to steady the ship. But the first person I get rid of is the Bernie Famine guy. Fuck him right off.
Yeah, well, it all lands at his feet. It all lands at his feet.
Who was that team boss at McLaren that we hated so much?
Eric Boulier.
Yeah,
who
him
came
back.
from Alpine, but that was back when they were Renault.
Yeah,
And they had.
but no, he was when it was Lotus.
Yeah, Lotus.
And it was owned by Jenny Capital.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that was a good team.
bring him back.
That was a team on the up and up, and you know what? Yeah.
He left and went to McLaren.
Yep.
He sent them down the gurgler,
Well,
and they went down the
the
gurgler.
Honda deal sent us down the gurgler.
Yeah, but
Headed by Eric Boulier.
yeah. Oh, look, at this point, I'd say bring back Eric Boulier.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
it's an option.
Anything-
Gunter Steiner, maybe?
yeah, Gunter
Aye.
Steiner.
That would be awesome.
You know, anything, because this Alpine is just, and change your name back to fucking Renault.
Yep.
Yeah,
Bring
Renault.
back the yellow and
I think that's
black.
what they need to do, is a whole redesign, like a whole refurbish of everything. Go back to Renault, go back to yellow and black, get rid of Esteban Ocon, get a new driver in, that's got some charisma, got something about him. Get
Carlos Sainz
Gunter
got
Steiner
charisma.
in with some, make the team likeable again. You've just got all those celebrity backings. I wonder what they're thinking right now. Like, Jesus, we backed the wrong cat, didn't we? Like,
Yeah, like
Ryan Reynolds is not smiling.
yeah, I mean, I could have told him before he made that investment he was going the wrong way about it. But,
Yeah.
they really do need to do something, because right now they're at the bottom of the grid. They're an unlikable team. They're just...
they're a
They're
joke.
going, they're going
They're
down, not up,
fucking
and that's
shit
not the
show.
way you want to go in Formula One.
They are a joke. They're an absolute joke.
They're like,
They're making Haas look good.
yeah,
And how can you make Haas look good? Make Renault great again. Wait, sorry, that's
Alpine. Yeah, no, it's a long fucking road from here.
Get Danica Patrick to be your team principal. She knows what she's doing.
She's had 3 decades experience. Just ask her.
She knows what a wall looks like. She's
Fucking
hit
her,
one
just
enough times.
Fucking ask her.
Yeah, I mean,
She'll tell you.
she knows what a wall looks like. She's hit it about 1,000 times. So, but look, Renault, they've got to be in crisis talks now. They've got to be.
yeah, they got to sort their shit out off track.
So that's all news items. Then we get to the drivers' standings. In first place is Max Verstappen with 26 points. Second place is Sergio Perez with 18 points. Third place is Carlos Sainz with 15 points. Charles Leclerc is in fourth with 12. Fifth is George Russell with 10 points. Thanks, Johnny.
You're welcome,
Bless
bud.
you. Sixth place is Lando Norris with 8 points in the McLaren. That's probably why you sneezed. Seventh place is Lewis Hamilton with 6 points. Eighth place is Oscar Piastri with 4 points. Ninth place is Fernando Alonso with 2 points. 10th place is Lance Stroll with 1 point. And the team standings, Red Bull are in first place with 44 points. Ferrari are in second place with 27 points. Third place is Mercedes with 16. Fourth place is McLaren with 12. Fifth place is Aston Martin with 3. Sixth place is Kick Sauber with 0. Seventh place is Haas with 0. Eighth place is Visa Cash App RB with 0. Ninth is Williams, surprise, surprise, with 0. And at the bottom of the barrel, of the bottom of the ocean, under the sea, under the pineapple, under the ocean, under the sea, 10th place is Alpine with, you guessed it, 0 points.
Yeah, that's already starting to shape up to how the championship's like.
Yeah.
Red Bull 20 points clear. Ferrari trying to chase them. McLaren and Mercedes going to be in a battle. Aston Martin's going to be on their own.
They're just going to
And
hold
then the
fifth all
rest
year.
are just going to shit fight to the end.
It's like who
And
can get a
Alpine's
point
going to
first.
stay right down there.
It's literally a battle of who can get 10th first to get 1 point. That's what it's going to be.
Oh, that's right. So recently I undertook a holiday down to Brisbane, but that's for the other podcast, that bit. But on the flight down, I actually started watching a movie on the flight. The movie Ferrari.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The new one?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
With Adam Driver as Enzo Ferrari.
Right.
He's
Now-
good
Now, I'm going to say this. I didn't get through the entire 2 and a bit hours of the movie.
because the plane ride's not long enough.
Correct. But I can tell you this. If you are watching this movie for the same car action that you got from Ford versus Ferrari, forget it.
Really?
It's all about Enzo and his personal life. Because when the movie starts, Ferrari is going down the toilet as a car company, and the accountant's trying to tell him, you need to get either Ford or Fiat involved as a partner. He's estranged from his wife, Laura, and he's got a girlfriend on the side who he's got a kid with, whose name is Piero, which oddly enough, the current surviving member of the Ferrari bloodline is Piero Ferrari, but I think it's Piero's grandson. And his number one test driver has just been killed. And instead of mourning his test driver, he just looks at the guy who just walked all the way from the train station to the track to try and get a spot with Ferrari. Just looked at him and gone, "So you drive a car, right? See you on Monday." While the test driver, is burning alive.
Jesus.
He was a ruthless man.
Yeah, he was.
He was a ruthless son of a bitch.
Yeah.
El Commodore. What do they call him?
Commendador.
The commander.
Yeah.
El Commodore.
And
Not Italian enough.
Yeah, so watching this movie,
I'm keen to see it.
Yeah, but just don't go into it expecting it to be fun and happy and a lot of driving stuff like Ford versus Ferrari, because it isn't there.
Yeah.
So if it's a serious drama about the man's life and not so much about the cars.
Still
That's
should be
fair enough.
interesting.
I mean, it's still interesting.
So, yeah. But on the flight back, I started watching Batman Begins. So,
There you go.
yeah, that's what happens when you fly down with Qantas.
Yeah,
You can-
movies. You don't get that on Virgin.
No.
You don't get fucking anything on Virgin.
But then I flew back with Jetstar and got different movies. And yet they're both owned by Qantas. Go
I'm
figure.
surprised Jetstar do movies.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
like
you've got to download the app.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck are you watching? I haven't seen a screen in the back of a plane since...
Well, the
Ever.
Qantas flights had TVs on the back of the chairs.
Yeah.
And you plug your headset into the input jack in the handle that doesn't fit properly unless you use their stereo headphones that are shit. Because they look like Walkman headphones from the 80s.
Yeah, right.
But they got stereo outputs, so you can plug them into both. But
I've got an adapter on my Sony headphones for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just used my Skull Candy ones, plugged them in, and I got stereo sound out of one input jack. So
There you go.
I found around the system. Anyway, so that's, yeah, like, do watch it, but don't expect Ford versus Ferrari.
All right.
Okay? And add to that fact that this movie was directed by the guy who did Heat, Manhunter,
Yeah.
the Miami Vice movie,
So it's gritty.
Collateral.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't use the same cameras that he used in Collateral and Miami Vice, where it looks
That's
like it was
fair.
shot on a home video camera. You just wait
Shaky
for the
cam.
Oh, no. It just looks like it's shot on a home video camera. You're waiting for the date to be in the corner, you know? And if you haven't seen Manhunter, watch it and then watch the movie Red Dragon,
Yeah.
because it's the same movie.
Right.
Yeah, well, I got the poster right there.
I know you got the poster there. I saw it. I was reading it before, actually.
Yeah. No, it's Red Dragon was a remake. The book was called Red Dragon, but when they made it in the 80s as Manhunter, they changed the title because they didn't want to be confused with martial arts movies. Anyway, right, so next week we're back again for Jeddah,
Another Sunday morning race.
the lovely cheese.
And a good
Oh,
track.
that's cheddar. Sorry, not Jeddah. Yeah. Let's see if someone can topple Max Verstappen, if Ferrari can get over their technical issues, if McLaren and Mercedes can get over their cars' inabilities.
I'm quietly confident because McLarens do like high-speed tracks. And Jeddah is a very high-speed track.
And let's see if Alpine can do anything.
They just do that. It's literally this weekend. It's in like 7 days, and they're going there with no No aero guy and no technical director.
And an engine that seems to be a bucket of shit.
And a car that's dog shit and
And
two
two
drivers
dri-
that hate each other.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
It's almost like you're sitting there poking a jellyfish with a stick going, move.
Yeah?
On the
Do
beach.
it. Yeah.
On the beach, yes. Not even in the water.
Yeah, on the beach.
What the frick?
That'll be an episode for DTS. Who could be worse, Haas or Alpine? Who's got the
Alpine.
more calamitous?
Alpine are making Haas look like world beaters at the moment.
Or to quote Gunther Steiner, we could have looked like fucking rock stars. Instead, we look like a bunch of fucking vankers.
I think that applies to Alpine.
Oh yeah, they've set the bar well for shit fuckery.
And then Esteban Ocon's trying to do this like half-assed fucking pep speech when he comes back in the pit lane after the race. It's like, it's only round one, boys. We've got lots more to go. Stay positive. And I'm like, you fuck.
Oh, he's the new Logan Sargent when
It's
he's crashed for the
like,
7th time, and he's
yeah.
like, "Thanks, boys," and he walks off into Silverado when they're fixing it late at night.
Crack out the ciggies. It's going to be a long season.
See you at Suzuki, boys.
See you at Suzuki, boys. Yeah, no, it was hilarious. He's got this half-assed, like, don't give up speech after your car's been lapped twice by Max Verstappen.
And as your aero guy is walking out the door behind him, like literally just packing his things, walking out.
The aero guy and the head technical guy are fucking packing their desks up in the back.
That's about Alcon's
And
there. All right,
trying to do
guys.
this fucking half-assed speech, and they're just like, "We're leaving." It's like, "I'll see you next week." No, you fucking won't.
He's putting his lunch into his metal lunchbox.
Yeah.
Like, see us.
No, you fucking
have
won't.
fun with that.
Oh my god.
Sorry, all I could think was Esteban Ocon sitting there talking to the mechanics, going, "What horsepower are you getting from the engine?
Not much.
Fuck all.
It needs to be 500 horsepower."
It probably only is 500 horsepower. That's the fucking problem.
And the car's running magnesium
It's
parts.
500 horsepower in magnesium parts. Unfortunately, everybody else is 1,000 horsepower in carbon fiber. It's like, I watched the wrong movie.
It's not the
boys.
70s anymore.
Leaves with the mechanics in the morning. Thank you. Good night.
Makes perfect sense.
Actually, I before we go, I actually saw an interview with Freddie Hunt.
Oh yeah,
He was ripping that movie apart.
Rush.
He's like, Daniel Bruhl nailed Niki Lauda because he picked up the phone and called Niki Lauda. Chris Hemsworth did fuck all.
You can't ring James Hunt. He's dead.
He goes, he didn't call any of us to talk to us. He did no research whatsoever. And there's bits in the movie that are completely inaccurate
Yeah.
and wrong.
Creative
and everything.
licensing. They never raced against each other in Formula 3.
And the thing was, the guy doing the interview goes, but they did talk to Niki Lauda about these events.
Yeah.
And then that's when they cut. Because it was a short. So he's just, well, they did talk to Niki Lauda about it.
Yeah. It was sort of accurate.
But yeah, he was just shitting on Chris Hemsworth.
Doesn't budge that movie from my top 5 list.
No, well, I mean,
Never will.
Sorry, Freddie, you've waited 11 years to say something. It's a bit late, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, on that bombshell, it's time to end. Till next week.
Speaking of, good job waving the checkered flag, Jeremy Clarkson. Even though you were fucking hammered. Good boy.
Yeah, good job.
You see his, grid walk speech? He was fucking hammered then. Trying to talk to Martin Brundle, and he's just like, what's going on? I think my tweet was, I don't think Jeremy was drinking Heineken Zeros.
Right, on that bombshell, it's time to end. On behalf of these two boys and myself, we'll see you next week. Until then, goodbye.